You know, the United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the ape, the young man who has become a legend of his own time. Come on, and I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
And if you can't handle the truth, this is not the place for you to be. Welcome, everybody. It's Thursday. It's the 22nd, I believe, of February. My birthday was yesterday, Patricia.
Happy birthday, Mr. Ron Kelly.
Thank you so much. Patricia Wilder joining me here. It's the Ron Kelly Show featuring Patricia Wilder. We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. We're on YouTube and X. And starting next week, we'll be on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com, and you can call us. You can actually call us. You don't have to. Well, I look kind of dark. You can actually call us. You don't have to go on the
chat.
The Facebook chat. You don't have to do that unless you want to. Next week you'll be able to call us live into the program.
Oh, nice.
We will talk to you. Okay, 7 p.m. You know what time it is. It's Ron Kelly Show featuring Patricia Wilder. If that last name Wilder sounds familiar, it's not for Gene Wilder and she's not a relative of Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor in the movie. She's a relative of Jerry Wilder, I believe his name is Jerry Wilder, pastor.
Yes.
Crossroads.
Jerry Wilder, yes.
Pastor Jerry Wilder, Crossroads Ministry, Paterson, New Jersey.
Wow, you remember that from,
Of course.
His ministry is about 30 years old now.
Yes.
Grace and Restoration Fellowship.
That's right. I do remember. If you don't have a church home, do drop by. I'm not sure what the time is, but I believe they have a page.
We have an 8:30 a.m. service. That means you're out by 10:30 a.m. Please join us at 385 Broadway, Grace and Restoration Fellowship.
All righty then. And
then where are you? You're in Montclair.
Yes, I'm in Christ. Actually, I'm at I'm at the Rockaway campus.
Oh, nice.
Christchurch, Rockaway, Green Pond Road. It's the only thing on Green Pond Road. It was the biggest thing on Green Pond Road, so you can't miss it.
With Pastor David.
Pastor David Ireland is our pastor.
Nice.
And I am your favorite, your friendly neighborhood cameraman. You'll see me standing in the aisle with this big crane.
I like your shirt, Ron.
Thank you so much. Yes, Faith, Miss Wilder. Faith.
Very nice.
Yes, Faith. We need some faith.
Do nothing without it.
No, we need some faith today. So, I was talking, and we're continuing our series on in Black History Month in the state of Black America, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to the comment page. For now, you can go on the comment page, Facebook, Ron Kelly, Facebook.com/Ron Kelly Show. So even if you don't have Facebook, I believe you can still get on Facebook.com/The Ron Kelly Show, featuring Patricia Wilder. I said, I was talking to Patricia earlier. We would talk all during the week, everybody. And I was saying that a young lady approached me last night and asked for a $1 for a coffee. Now, Patricia, I'm of the thought process. If you can walk, you can work. You know what I'm saying? If you can walk, you can work. If you can get up the nerve to ask me, a perfect stranger, for $1, then you could go to a company and ask for a job. I mean, if you got that kind of moxie. So, and I don't like doing that, but I said, okay. So I went to give the young lady $1, and she scrunched up her face, all like that. And she said, "This ain't enough for no cup of coffee." And I'm like, wait a minute, didn't you ask me for $1? So let me put this out here, and everybody else who's listening to the program. Have we gotten to this entitled mode, Patricia? are we starting to feel like somebody owes us something in the Black community? Is it slavery? Is it redlining? Is it racism? I mean, I'm not sure what it is, but I think that some of our people think that they are entitled and like you owe them something. And
Well, I mean, I don't know about, there are times when people fall on hard times, for different reasons, and there is a multitude of reasons why. Um, and so there are times if I'm willing, I will give. Normally that comes with you listening to me give you a speech.
you're like, why I asked her? Why
Normally
did I
that
ask her?
comes with me giving you a speech.
Standing there like, oh, I should have.
Normally, I remind you that we need you, that we need your voice, that we need you to get it together. That there are resources that are available to assist you and aid you. So, yeah. So, and if you want my money, then you're going to listen. And, and other times I give, other times I pray with the person, you know, um, but we are living in these times when you look into the way substance use and abuse runs rampantly in whatever community you're in. So whether you're in the elite community or whether you're in urban communities, substance use and mental health issues are all over the place, and one would have to be in that state to be able to feel comfortable enough to say, so helping people to get their act together, and whatever that means. Are you suffering from the disease of addiction? It's a real issue. Are you having some mental health issues? That's real. And so all of those things contribute. Your average person is just not reporting, right? It's just not reporting to the McDonald's or to the bank, to wherever the hole open the door for you to ask for $1. There's some things going on. But I really had really healthy dialogues with people. I remember actually this one group, it was like, 3 people. So of course, we talked. I also invited them to church. I also offered resources to them, to help them if they wanted help. And, some of them showed up for a few minutes.
Yeah, for a few minutes. That's the sad. That's the sad part. Like, okay, now I'm going back on the street. And I have a friend who has a family member who claims not to want to, black people who claims not to want to work for the white man. And my thing is like, who the hell else are you going to work for? Because white people own like 98% of the businesses. I mean, the ones that offer health care and pension and these type of things.
Well, I mean, if you don't want to work for someone else, you can always create your own. But again, you have to crawl before you can walk. You have to walk before you can run. You have to understand that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, right? You have to have a beginning. You have to begin. So, if that's your goal, like to have your own business and not to work for anyone else, that's a long-term goal. But in the meantime, you may need to do this. How many times people report to do what they have to do, to keep a roof over their heads. So feelings, they're fickle. If you don't do something just based upon how you're feeling in the moment, right? Like, because, we don't want you making permanent decisions based upon, temporary feelings. So you have to push through. You have to push through the feeling and still show up. There are many times that I wake up in the morning and I don't feel like getting up or going out into the world, but there is, a responsibility. So I think really we need to have, more support systems for people that find themselves at a place that I don't think, people don't really intend to do that or grow up saying.
Yeah, we're going to be homeless and beg for change outside
Right.
of McDonald's drive-through.
Right.
I don't think that anybody actually says that. But Patricia, everybody, the Ron Kelly Show featuring Patricia Wilder. I was talking to a friend today, and he said, "Are we too late? Is it too late for Black folks to get it together?" Because you go into different communities, and I drive around for a living, and when I'm at work, I go into different communities. And when I go into the Italian community, you can tell there's Italian people or white folks thereabouts that live there. When you go in the Hispanic community, you see these businesses, restaurants, and bakeries, and cafes, and all of these places that are owned primarily by Hispanic people, and they support each other. They support each other's businesses, and the businesses are right there in the community, so you don't have to travel two towns away to get to this business. The business is right there, and the people share commerce together. But when you go in the Black community, how you know you're in the Black community? Condemned buildings, Negroes on the corner in front of the liquor store, and all these type of things. Look, I'm keeping it real with you. And these are the things that we do to lower our value. What happened? To lower our value.
1 second. I'm sorry. I'm having some technical difficulties here.
Oh, okay. To lower, I can still hear you though. To lower that, these are the things that we do to lower our value as a people. And like we're the only community that, like, when you how you recognize community is that it's messed up. There's abandoned buildings, businesses that are shuttered, people on the corner.
So you're talking about in urban distress communities.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be. This is America. This is the United States of America, and you shouldn't be distressed. Because there's so many.
But when you look at certain communities, the poverty level is real. Certain environments that people live in, and have to survive in. And
yeah, but Patricia, in some neighborhoods, some communities, some countries, you don't have nothing. There is nothing. No WIC, no welfare, no.
And it's probably not a liquor store on every other corner.
Probably not,
because
not. You can't make any money in that community. So
all I'm saying is that when you look at certain communities, urban communities, and when you look at people that are living in poverty and facing difficulties, again, when you compare that to another suburban community, they don't have to deal with some of those, same issues when they come out of the house, whether it's, hearing the police or hearing fires or hearing violence. They're not having that same type of traumatic experience.
Well, there's a lot of truth to that, but our people, see, and part of the problem is just the unity piece. There's like no unity or very little unity in the Black community.
Well, I don't know that I don't agree with that. I think there's unity. Yeah, 10
of us are going to get a fifth of Chivas Regal.
I don't think.
Oh my God.
I think people want better for their lives, Ron.
Yeah, but people have to get up. When I wake up in the morning, I don't want to go out the door either. But I look around and say, okay, who's going to pay for all of this? And I'm like, oh, who's going to pay for that car that's sitting outside? So, or the insurance, or the cell phone, or the rent, and all these other things that I got going on in my life. Somebody's got to pay for all this stuff. So at the end of the day, I got to get up and I got to go out, because I don't want to be outside in 10-degree weather at the corner of Springfield Avenue and Sussex Avenue begging for change. I don't want that for myself. And see, there's ways out of stuff. I don't want to put it out there on the air, but and I know between me and you. Between
me and you, what is that?
No, not between me and you.
I don't. All I'm saying is that help is available.
Right, and it is available.
You were talking about in dilapidated communities and seeing poverty all around. I'm just simply saying where people have lost hope, where people have refused to dream, where life has raped them to the point, where they feel like, hey, this is what it is, that they're not looking for anything beyond. Those are people that are oppressed, people that are depressed, people that are hopeless. And I think to that population of people that we have to be a voice, that we have to give hope to the hopeless, that we have to give a voice, to the voiceless. And I think that if you work consistently with anyone, right, that you can bring about changes. I don't really believe people want, nothing. Everyone wants to feel like they matter. Everyone wants to feel important. And so, but sometimes it is hard when I say strategically, you have 52 liquor stores, in one, radius of a community.
Right. Who frequents those liquor stores, Patricia? How do those liquor stores make money? How do the Chinese restaurants, Asian restaurants, I should say, make money? How do they make money? Because they put their businesses in the Black communities. They know we don't sit at the table and eat no more. We don't have the Sunday dinner like you see on Blue Bloods TV show or something like that. You might have 5 or 6 people living in one house. So one person wants Chinese food, one person wants KFC, one person wants McDonald's. So we don't even eat together. So they put these businesses in our community. Say, okay, we'll accommodate them. For the person who wants McDonald's, there's one on the corner. For KFC, I mean, so we don't. Even the families don't.
Well, I think that's deliberate as well. That you have people that place liquor stores in our communities. And I think that's a different fight that we have to have, whether that's with licensure, because if you try to put certain things in other communities, they protest against it. They come out and advocate against it. You're not going to put anything there. So, sometimes, people just need a hand up, people need a hand up versus a hand out. And even that mindset that tells you want to hand out, even that mindset, can be changed.
Well, and I agree with that, Patricia, but people you got to stick your hand out there in order for somebody to put something in it. And like I was saying last week, that, I'm tired of the food boxes and stuff like that. I understand that people need to eat, but we need to teach people how to fish, not feed them. Teach them.
Well, I definitely, I think you do. You want to teach people how to fish, to get it on their own versus giving it, to them.
And you got I was going to say, you got these millionaires and billionaires with all this money, one person with 300 million for 5 years. I mean, this is unthinkable that somebody could make the kind of money. And I'm not mad at them. Hey, get yours, because they offered it to me. I would take it too. But, we have to.
Lamont Gate.
Lamont Gate says, am I still for reparations? No. Because you know why? Because it's going to be like when in the height of the COVID situation, they were giving people money, Oh, here's Miss Clancy. It's trying to come on. Okay. Hey, Miss Clancy.
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm actually still at the meeting, but I said since they were in closed session, I would actually pop on.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Oh, okay, Miss Clancy. Lamont Gates says, am I still for reparations? You see, I don't. How do you quantify reparation? Let me take a break. It's 20 after. Wow, the time is flying, but it's 20 after already. We take a quick break, and we will come back with more. And with a new sponsor, we'll come back with more in just a second. It's the Ron Kelly Show, featuring Patricia Wilder. And we are on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter, destroyed by Elon Musk. We're back just a second with more. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
And welcome back, everybody. It's the Ron Kelly Talk radio program featuring Ms. Patricia Wilder, and it's on blogtalkradio.com. Starting next week, you'll be able to call us. You can call us and holler at us, yell, scream, just don't curse. On blogtalkradio.com, RonKellyShow.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. So Lamont Gates, before we went to break, Lamont Gates asked me about, or asked us rather about.
That a live call is coming in already to the station, Ron?
No, they can't call me on the phone. But I'm gonna kick it to you, Patricia. Are you, and then you, Ms. Clancy, Patricia, are you for reparations? And how do you quantify the reparations? I mean, how do you figure who gets what? How do you figure that? Okay, let me tell you what I think about that for a second. This is what I've always said is that anybody who was born before the Civil Rights Act was enacted should get it. Anybody born, after that should not, because that's the best way for me to quantify how reparations.
Should get what? Should get what?
To get some money, because you can't give money to every black person in America. You can't do that. I mean, they're thinking that they can't do that. You can't give reparations to everybody and every black person in America. There's too many of us. And on top of that, how much do you give? Some people are talking like $1 million. I mean, that's low. They're not going to do that.
Well, I'm really with giving someone whatever dollar amount you want to say is not necessarily the answer. And so I see Lamont as he's talking about, what if that means a free college discount? What if that means, discounts in home ownership? We have to look beyond, because of the investments that we have made in this country, because we have built this country, because we as a people have made great contribution. So this is not about, giving me a few grand and that's it. So I think you do have to look from a broader perspective in terms of repaying us, or in terms of not that you could ever repay for all of what we have done to build this country. But in terms of, giving something back, I think it has to go, beyond a dollar sign. And that
before we go to Ms. Clancy, I just wanted to say, Patricia, that if they give out reparations, like let's say 50,000 a piece, 100,000 a piece, I'm going to take every penny I got and invest it in Juicy Couture, in Coach, in Louis Vuitton. I'm going to invest money because I know that that's where that money is going to go. Nike.
Oh, so you're going to go get stock, because you're saying that what black people are going to do is to spend versus invest and build.
Right.
And
they're going to start
buying.
Like
you have a very low, what do I want to say? Expectation, on us as a people.
You can bring Miss Clancy in for a second. Miss Clancy, the floor is yours.
I first want an apology. How about you apologize and make it right and take 3/5 of a man out of the Constitution and make it full?
Well, Bill Clinton did apologize.
That's a part of reparation. So let's get that done. It's not about money. It's about making people of color 100% like everybody else. Everybody needs to be on the same playing field, and we are not.
But Bill Clinton did apologize for slavery, and white folks were up in arms over that, but he did apologize. You see,
so listen, so he apologized, but the amendment is still there in the Constitution. I need you to apologize and fix that.
Hold on a second, Miss Clancy. Albert Vega says, "Ron, my brother, love you, man. Leave my Chinese restaurants." Alone. So you're going to get some shrimp fried rice tonight, Albert? Wow. Okay, moving on. Lamont Gates says, who says reparations should be money? So I guess he agrees with you, Ms. Clancy. What if it was free college, discounted home ownership, and other systematic bonuses? If that doesn't get them from standing in front of the liquor store, then the problem is deeper than probably poverty, Lamont Gates, which I do believe that it is deeper than poverty. And he's right. If you're going to don't give money, give free college, stop redlining. When you build a building, when you build an apartment building, don't say it's going to be affordable at $2,400 a month, because that's not affordable. Make affordable really affordable, because they don't want no Section 8 people in those buildings. So you need to open up the economy and let Black folks operate in this economy just like everybody else does. One other thing, Lamont Gates says anyone born after the Civil Rights Act have still felt the impact of systemic oppression. That is true, Lamont Gates, but those people, there was no Civil Rights Act.
Including those people,
Yeah, he says that people born after the Civil Rights Act.
Including all of us is my point.
He's saying like everybody. Right, but I never saw a black and white toilet bathroom. I never saw a black and white fountain. By the time I was born and was growing up.
Yeah, but how does it show up for you today in 2024? Because it's definitely prevalent. It's definitely there. What does oppression, what does systematic oppression looks like today in 2024?
Well, I think that we still have the black and white toilets. Just that there's no sign there, but you kind of know. Maybe I shouldn't go in.
In fact, there was just something on the news today with Attorney Crump, right here in Jersey.
Ridiculous. I don't believe it, but go ahead. Oh my God.
So here was the deal.
Why?
So there were two young people. You've seen these two young people who had to fight, right? And so when the police officers came in, although they separated the fight, to the lighter youth, they let sit down. To the black youth, he was only 14 years old, they had him face down and in handcuffs, So of course, the parents, rightfully so, has taken issue with that, and they are doing some type of settlement outside, whatever that settlement is, but more so, again, we're talking about systemic, where simply because of the color of my skin, simply because I am of a darker hue, so I'm just talking about 2024, how you continue, to see the plight and the impact, of oppression, racism, sexism, and every other kind of ism.
Ms. Clancy.
I also want to point out that Black families have been destroyed in many different ways, and we have never been able to come up from that. And as much as we try, there is something that holds us down, and that system that we are dealing with against, because it's us against the world for whatever reason. I don't quite understand why, because we have invented so much makeup.
We lost Miss Clancy. Patricia.
Oh, she's back. She's back.
Oh, she's back. Okay. And she's muted for some reason.
You're muted, Miss Clancy.
I don't think she can hear us either. Can you text her and tell her that we can't hear her? Okay, and by the way, our the new sponsor is Tasha's, and I've eaten there before, so I know what's going on. Tasha's Caribbean and Soul Restaurant, Dodge Street, in Orange, New Jersey. And if you order online, you can get $5 off your order with this coupon code POSTC22. That's post C22. You minimum online order $50 is required. It cannot be used as any other promotion. So we welcome Tasha's Caribbean and Soul Restaurant on Dodge Street in the great city of Orange, New Jersey. I've been there. I like it, and so will you. Okay, it's a half past the show. It's 30 minutes past the hour. It's 29 minutes before the hour. Lamont Gates says that taking away segregation didn't end oppression, Patricia Wilder.
That's right, sir.
And he says the intro of my show says conservatives want to bring slavery back. So I'm scratching my head a bit. Well, I tell you what, Lamont, you listen to some of those Trump speeches, and the inference is there. If you listen to some of those Trump speeches, the inference and the dog whistle is there. Take our country back, make our country great again. You know, there are a lot of folks, white supremacists and all, like we have fired the white supremacists because we're doing more damage to ourselves than anybody else. So there are people who do want to bring slavery back. There are people who don't think slavery was that bad. My case is I should agree with my co-host. Well, you know, I agree with her occasionally. You know, every now and again I do.
So,
Agree with her. But yeah, Lamont Gates says I should agree with you. I should agree.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? Miss Clancy is back on. Actually, she lost, but she did want to finish making her point. So I actually have her on speaker so that she can.
Oh, because I don't see her on the program. Okay.
Clancy?
Yes, good evening again. If they could apologize, give us a level playing field. Our families have been destroyed. The Black men have been castrated in many different ways. Can we stop? Everything Black is negative in America.
Yeah, black male, black ball, black everything. Yeah, black out.
a small percentage make it. And if we pay attention, things are going on that they have to kind of be quiet.
But wait a minute, Miss Clancy. How much of that? Oh, she can't hear me, right?
Yeah, she can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, how much? Yeah, and I get all of that, but how much of that is our fault? How much of that?
It's not when it's already built in America.
Yeah, but how do we?
Our fault.
But
no matter how much we get up, they try to knock us down, and whoever they is, they is.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of
they treat us a certain kind of way?
But isn't
that to a certain point?
But isn't that
no, you can't, and they stop us. Whoever they are, they know who they are.
But isn't that kind of
always
Patricia,
made Black be negative?
Isn't that kind of Ron says? Isn't that kind of a?
Can we please stop?
Okay.
Ron says.
Black people.
Wait, what would you like me to say?
And I'm going to hang up. We are a people that can work with anybody. We see the good in everybody. And I'm not saying all of us are the same way, but you got a large portion that just want to work with others to build and not destroy. Can we go forward? Can we press in? Can we move past? Apologize. Take everything out of the Constitution. Make every man a man, every woman a woman, every child a child until they become an adult. Can we do right by people? Can we do right by people? It's the reality. It's the question. Can we do right, or do you keep a foot on someone's neck so that they don't progress, that they can't go where they need to go? And if we do,
but how much about
the percentage? How do we keep going? Because there's something always trying to hinder us.
But how do we take the foot off? How do we take?
Because it's real, and we've all experienced it.
But how do we take the foot off our own neck?
We are adults. Most of us have experienced it.
So, Miss Clancy,
under the carpet because there is no one that wants to deal with it.
But how do we take the foot?
Really deal and let's begin to heal and go forward.
Okay, how do we take the foot off our own necks? How do we, the grandmama that can't go down to the grocery store because old boy is going to snatch her pocketbook, the children that have to jump in the bathtub when shots are fired people living
Well,
living.
that's the red line.
But
But
people, no. People living, but people living.
Because
But the people
we're
that,
honest about it, the redlining, the project, all that is built like a jail. Come on. Look at the jail plan, the jail, the set of it, the way that it's mapped out, and then look at the projects, the set of it, and the way it's mapped out.
yeah, but we
like prison.
But we are falling for the banana and the tailpipe with all of this stuff. We move into the projects as we want to say.
There are times we have not been able to get up from where we are at. What's been dealt to us, we haven't been able to progress efficiently or effectively because something has stopped us. Every time we get a little bit, something snatches it away. Come on now.
We allow things to be snatched away, Miss Clancy. We allow. I mean, how much of it? Okay, hold on. How much of it is our fault? How much of it is our fault? Why? Like I said, why does a grandmama? That's why they don't. Thank God they don't send out checks anymore. Because grandmama would go downstairs to get her check and go to the check casher place, and she would come back with a knot on her head because another black person took her money. What about? No. Wait a minute. Wait. No. What about? There's a lot of this stuff that's our fault. There's a lot of this stuff. We can't see.
Well, what is? Okay.
But Patricia, we keep putting everything on the white man.
No,
I'm never going to get ahead.
I did not. I said whoever we are, whoever they are. I never said who's who.
Well, they ain't the migrants, Miss Clancy. They are not.
It doesn't matter who they are.
They are not.
They know who they are.
They are not migrants. They are the powers that be. They are the people who run the United States of America, and it ain't no Puerto Ricans, and it ain't no Irish, and no. It's white people that run America, and they are the ones, in a way that are responsible for the plight of the black community. But there's a lot that we have to do, and as long as we keep sitting back and it's this person's fault, it's that.
But I don't believe that is the majority of one's focus is to blame, because we have been a resilient people. We have been a people that have risen above whatever the circumstance, condition, situation. God knows we know how to rise above. God knows we know how to make $1 out of 15 cents. And so there, for the most, black folks, are people that are hard workers, that are, fighting.
When they want to go to work. When they want to go to work, they're hard workers. Yeah, how many people have you heard say, I ain't working for the white person? How many times
I
have you
have not
that?
heard many. I don't know what people you're hanging around with.
Maybe I'm hanging with the wrong people, but I've heard that. Well, everybody I hang with works, but that's what you hear people say.
I believe that
what I was trying to tell Miss Clancy is that
the innovativeness that we have.
I thought she was going
to find a job, and we choose to create finances. We choose to create wealth. For example, I know a 24-year-old young lady right now who decided I don't want to be in the regular business world, so she created her own vending job. And now she's throughout different schools and different buildings, and she's doing it. And she decided that I want to be more than they said I could be. And so she's striving, she's working hard. I know a lot of young people like that.
Okay, we need to take a break. Okay, we need to take a break, Miss Clancy. It's the Ron Kelly Show featuring Patricia Wilder, and we are on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. Back with more of the Ron Kelly Show after this break, and we'll address Lamont Gates' comment in just a moment. It's the Ron Kelly Show featuring Patricia Wilder, and we're on everywhere. Be right back. All right. Shout out to the good people over at Amica and Porterfield Transportation for 44 years, should they? Started in 1980. 44 years, around about the time I was born. Amica and Porterfield Transportation has been providing outstanding, safe, and reliable transportation to your destination. They're located at 307 Arlington Avenue in the great city of Plainfield. Give them a call, 908-753-6423. That's 908-753-6423. The Amica and Porterfield Transportation is a proud sponsor of this here Ron Kelly Talk Radio show featuring Patricia Wilder. And once again, Tasha's Caribbean and Soul Restaurant. Tasha's Caribbean and Soul Restaurant. I've been there, I ate there, and I liked it. And and let them know you heard about this on the Ron Kelly show. $5 off on your online order. Don't go there and ask for $5 off because you're not going to get it. Go your online order with this coupon code POSTC22. That's POSTC22. Tasha's Caribbean and Soul Restaurant on Dodd Street in the great city of Orange, New Jersey. Okay, so Lamont Gates says, Patricia, don't get me wrong, I believe great strides were made, but certain groups such as Blacks and Native Americans have been impacted due to history that impacted future generations. What do you think of that, Patricia? What's the skinny? Because I agree with the historical, the implications that Black folks who were maligned all these years. I get that. But Patricia, if we have the wherewithal to make $1 out of 15 cents and to do all these wonderful things that you said,
and we do.
Why can't we unify? Why can't we unify? See, because we talked about having a Black president, right? Everybody wanted a Black president. They were saying that Bill Clinton was the first Black president. Oh, you really? You look kind of white to me. And then we got Barack Obama. Barack Obama was the president for 8 years. Black man, Black daughters, Black wife in the White House. And having.
Can you imagine that? Even if we could pause. So when he decided that I am going to run to become the president of the United States, to the people are you sure that you want to do that? Because of course it had never happened before, that no one believed that it would.
Oh, he was trying to talk him out of that. A lot of us didn't believe. He was like, oh, he ain't gonna make it, because they didn't want Jesse Jackson.
Right. So I'm just talking about the resilient spirit, right?
That he had, yeah.
That Black people have overall.
But why? But we need to put that spirit to work. Barack Obama didn't become president by just he did a lot of emailing and social networking and all of that stuff. But he didn't become president by just talking about it. He had to be about it. He was the one Black man that white folks would accept, because he wasn't radical. He didn't say y'all, and he was the one white.
Listen, if that could have been prevented from happening, but that is why it's so important that you have to move in the timing of things. I'm sure, other folks would have loved for him not to. I'm sure people didn't think that it would happen, but it has.
And white people voted him. Shout out to Omar Brown. What's up, my brother? Good to see you, man. Thank you for partaking of our program. But see, my point is, Patricia, that having a Black president didn't do nothing for Black people. I'm not saying, because people say that Barack Obama didn't do nothing for Black people. Well, that should have, if we got a Black president, that should have energized every Black person in America to say, okay, not to say that we made it or there's no more racism.
People were energized, which is why you got.
They didn't do anything.
Which is why you got people coming out to vote, which is why he was voted in.
But see, we had Black senators. We had a Black president for 2 terms, not 1, two, because everybody thought that Barack Obama would only be a one-term president. Mitch McConnell, who's the leader of the Republicans.
Again, another thing with the resilient spirit and a people to come out and cast your vote.
Right, but then they didn't do anything else, though. But Patricia, they didn't do. Everybody's about 14 minutes before the hour, but nobody, the black community. What I'm saying, Patricia, is the black community did not change once for the 8 years that Barack Obama was president. The black community did not change, and then we turn around and say, "Oh, well, Barack Obama didn't do nothing for black people." And I hear that all the time, and I just,
someone says that they're speaking from a place of ignorance, like.
Absolutely.
Omar Brown has a comment in.
Yeah, he says, however, look at how the country responded. All the masks were dropped after his term. It only took a spark from Donald Trump, who's planning on making a return. And the way it looks, that he'll be sleeping in the White House after November 7th.
Do you think so?
I do think. Do
you think people want to live in a dictatorship versus a democracy?
Well, see, but the people
they not understand.
Well, the people who support Donald Trump are lawless. They don't respect the law. They don't respect the Constitution. They don't respect anything. They just want this guy to come in there, the swaggering, ridiculous sounding Donald Trump. They just want him to come in and be what they want him to be. Most of the people who support Donald Trump are not college educated. A lot of them didn't even graduate from high school. They don't know what the hell they want. A lot of them are just, a lot of them are supporting Trump because their next door neighbors supporting Trump, and they don't want to look bad. Lamont Gates says, Lamont Gates says, I think after Bush they would have voted for Mickey Mouse, George Bush, the son of the first president, George Bush. Congress makes laws, not presidents, and no president can be president of a race, but the entire nation. Well, see, Donald Trump is going to be the president of the white race. Because you see, look what happened with, or the rich folks. Those are the people who Donald Trump supports. Look what happened, 16% tax cut when Donald Trump was president for the corporate tax. But did we get a tax cut? No, we didn't get crap. So he is a hold on, Lamont Gates, thank you. Omar Brown says, I don't believe that will happen because he is a threat to them. They can't control him. That's what Omar, who is him, Omar? Come back and say who is him. But Patricia, we have to start doing like Medgar Evers, I think, do for self. That's what Medgar Evers said.
I'm saying that we are people that have.
Stop crying. And if you ain't got it, get it. Look at the people in the football players and the basketball players making hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Well, nobody makes $100 million a year, but they're making millions of dollars, and they didn't get to the NFL by, talking about the white man. They got off there, they worked hard, and they got where they are. So
what? Even as you
become possible. See, black people, we got to stop crying, got to stop pointing fingers, got to stop blaming, and we have to do what we need to do for ourselves. Like Medgar Evers said, do for self. Do for self. Stop waiting for the white man, because the city council, for example, it's not going to put more police on the street. Maybe if we stop robbing each other, they wouldn't need to put more police officers.
I'm really having an issue the way you cast black folks.
No, I'm not.
The smartest people on the planet.
Right, but look, but we're dumb when it comes to
happens to us. Systemic, racism, oppression. All of those things are real, but we are people that have persevered in the face of all of that. And so you do have, poverty in certain areas, and you do have where drugs have infiltrated communities. You do have 99 liquor stores within a small radius of communities. I am saying all of that stuff is intentional, but for the most part, we as a people, are some of the smartest people on the planet, right? And because you have mental health, and because you have substance abuse, because you have people who have lost hope, because you have people that don't believe that it can happen for them, that they can get out of the dilemma that they're in. That's not the majority of folks. And I think to those folks, we do a disservice. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't teach people how to fish, but we have to be empathetic and we have to help people to know. For instance, when you think about Harriet Tubman, right? When she was freed and she would go back to get people, there were some people that have been so traumatized by the experience that they were in, they didn't want to leave, and even as they were leaving to go, they would want to turn and go back, and she would have to turn her gun on them and say, I'll kill you first before I'll allow you to go back. So sometimes when you have been oppressed and for so long, when you have been traumatized and impacted, by real life experiences, it takes some time to bring your mindset to a place to believe that you're deserving of better.
Well, so what you're saying, like with the black race is suffering from like PTSD or something, like we because we've been so.
I'm saying the trauma is real, but here's what happens when trauma happens in our community, the same way, we still have to report to work. We still have to do whatever that next thing is. We really don't talk about it. When trauma happens in other communities, they are in counseling, they are seeking therapy out loud, they're getting help to be able to navigate through.
Right, because white folks are not ashamed of, most of them are not ashamed of therapy, and they'll say, yeah, I've seen a therapist. I myself have seen a therapist. Doesn't mean
right. Like when you look at whatever your circumstance has been, however you have been impacted, whether you're white, black, or any other color in between, Latino, whatever your deal is, that you have been impacted by certain things, and so coming from childhood into adulthood, and so, I'm a person who believes that the world needs to be in counseling, and addressing issues to help them to navigate through, versus, I'm okay. I'm saying, getting people to open up and talk about and be intentional in getting better. But living in poverty, a lot of folks have that mindset. And so to be able to break through that, it takes us helping people, to understand that there is a way out, that we can get better, that one of the greatest investments that you can make is the one that you make in yourself. There is unity in the community. People do want to help each other. But there is a deliberate, strategic, to continue to oppress. And so you have to look in those days, the Jim Crow days, you seen blacks and whites. How does that show up in 2024? And how do we continue to fight forward? I'm not sure, Ron. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Ron? Mr. Kelly, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I cannot hear you, sir. Can we do a break? Ron is muted.
know, the United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the eighth, the young man who has become a legend in his own time. Come on, and I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Hello. We are back. Mr. Kelly, can we hear you? No, you're actually still muted. Well, we are at the top of the show. It is 7:58. And Mr. Kelly is having some technical issues. I will say to you all, it has been a wonderful show of dialoguing. Actually, are you able to put up Omar's comment as well as, can you put up a comment, Mr. Kelly? Okay. You know, Omar talked about PTSD being real. I think it was Albert. Yes. You know, talked about, look, what they're doing to the Native Americans, sticking them on reservations away from everything, like everything being deliberate and intentional to break people down. And then Omar comment about PTSD. PTSD is real. When there is a drive-by on the streets happens, depending on how you are perceived, you may go to jail. If someone in the service or accepted place, you receive SSI, you know, for the rest of your life. So listen, this has been a really healthy dialogue. Unfortunately, Mr. Kelly has been muted for the continuation of this show, but we certainly want to thank you all for being with us on tonight and having a healthy dialogue on how we continue to hold up the light and make the difference. Once again, you are listening to the Ron Kelly Show with our very own Ron Kelly, who at this time is restricted. But we thank you. You're here. We hear you now.
I'm back. Albert. Thank you, Albert. Albert Baker. Love you, brother. Albert. DJ Tiny. Look for him on Facebook. He used to have a show. I don't know what happened, but yes. Those poor Indians that own Foxwoods and they're making zillions of dollars, and America can't touch them. You know, those poor Indians. The Indians got reparations because at least we supposed to get 40 acres of the mule. We didn't get 40 acres of the mule, but the Indians got their 40 acres. We didn't get ours. You know what I'm saying? So now they got the Foxwoods and some of these other casinos that are making money hand over fist, and the United States can't touch them because that's their land. They have their own police. They have their own justice system. They may not be sophisticated as the ones we have, but they still have it. So those poor Indians, give me some land and let me build a casino, and I don't have to pay any taxes. I would love it. But I understand the PTSD is real. Police officers especially, that's why they be kicking the tar out of people because they're frustrated because they have PTSD as well. So thank you, Patricia Wilder.
Yes, can we put the last comment up from Lamont Gates that talks about the study that was done? Because
you call that reverend? You mean for the study? Hold on. Yes. We're a couple of minutes over, but don't worry about it. Just hang in there with us. PTSD is real when there's a drive-by on the
no, not that one.
Not that one. Okay.
Lamont's. That was by Omar. Lamont has one that talks about there was a study done that shows Native Americans have indeed been impacted by their history, which accounts for the high depression and alcoholism in their communities and reservations.
Absolutely. They are suffering. You know, Black folks are suffering as well, Patricia. I don't deny that. Yes, we are suffering. And, we're suffering, but we can, if we come together, just about the unity, if we get the unity piece straight and come together and stop kicking each other's backs in, talk about each other, and the crab in the bucket where you pull person's getting out and you pull it, grab them by the leg and pull them back in. If we can start, because look at the example we're setting for our children with this talking about each other, kicking each other's back in, robbing, stealing, selling drugs. What kind of
that's a small percentage.
No, but it might be a small percentage, Patricia, but it affects the whole community. There could be 5 people selling drugs, and that whole.
Well, you can also talk about how Black people are disproportionately incarcerated.
Yeah, but see, I've never been to jail. And I've done drugs and all of that stuff. I've never been to jail because I've made up my
you're
mind.
not denying the fact of the incarceration that happens to Black and brown people,
right? Because
color.
We put ourselves in those situations, Patricia. We put ourselves.
Because you perceive me. I just gave you a situation, and we're going to close because we're at the top of the hour. But we're in Bridgewater, where you had a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old fighting in a mall, and based upon the perception,
the Black kids
if I have to die because of the color of my skin, then we really have to die fighting to make change happen. And when you look at that incident, it was about how we were perceived, and so to the darker hue young man, he was perceived a certain way. Didn't start the fight, but was in the fight. But when the police got there, they arrested him, or at least handcuffed him. And the other kid, where both of them were fighting, was sitting down somewhere.
Right. And I realized, I understand that. I did read about that. And see, we have to, we are responsible for our communities. In other words, we are responsible.
What about perception? Because we're talking about systemic, right? And we're talking about you're taught how to think less of a person based upon the color of their skin.
But
to
that's
have
never
no regard for a person based upon the color of their skin. Those are things that, to the kids, that are growing up together, and then they start to learn that I need to treat someone, like even going back to the father and son that got arrested in Georgia and is currently doing time because the Black man was, running through their community. So I'm talking about perception. Like you don't have to do anything, just be.
So we can't assimilate into mainstream America. We can't assimilate. Once they see that black face, and see, once they see that black face, it's all over. But see, that's something that's never going to go away. You ever watch Star Trek and you never see like nobody calling the other person the N-word? In 500 years from now, there's still going to be racism somewhere. You know what I mean? So that's something that we're going to have to deal with for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
The next generation, and then the next generation, and the next generation. But what we need to do is focus on our community. Stop the harm that we're causing to ourselves, because we're causing a lot of harm to ourselves in our communities. Why do I have to, have my head on the swivel when I go down Springfield Avenue?
Omar Brown makes a statement. He says the first time he went to prison, it was for something he did not do.
Yeah, for 4 years. For 4 years, he went to prison for something he didn't do.
Just based upon perception.
And that's the perception. There was what was the kid's name? Who was the youngest person in America. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick before we get out of here. The youngest person in America to be executed was a black boy. And his name was George Stinney Jr. George Stinney Jr. was 14 years old. He was executed in South Carolina in 1944. It took 10 minutes to convict him and 70 years to exonerate him. Now, after this kid, 14-year-old kid, was George Stinney Jr., was executed in 1944, and then he was exonerated. He was accused of killing 11-year-old Betty June Binnicker and Mary Emma Thames, and they accused George Stinney Jr. of killing these two people. And what happened was he was exonerated like 70 years later. He was exonerated, found not guilty. Well, too late because he's already dead, and he was killed at 14 years old. So yeah, I understand that. And even today is not much different from back then. They still, I mean, they can't be so blatant about it like they were with this young man, but they still do it, and we know that. So that's something we're not going to be able to change. So we need to focus on our community, because not only do they look at us, the color of our skin, they look at the community. Look at those N-words. You know, look at how they're living. You know, look at them all in front of the liquor store. Look at them all in front of the, you know. And so that they
No, so again,
it's not just the color of the skin, Patricia, what I'm saying. It's also the stereotype. We are responsible for some of that stereotype because of the things that we are doing to ourselves. And most of the time when somebody calls the police, it's about one of us doing something to one of us, you know, in the Black community. It needs to stop.
Well, you got that shirt, faith. So we're going to encourage the people to keep the faith. To keep the faith and to put one foot in front of the next foot, remembering the journey of 1,000 miles comes one step at a time.
And don't put put one foot in front of the other, but don't use that foot to kick your fellow African American. Okay, so we're going to break, everybody. Thank you so much for joining Patricia and I. We'll see you back here.
You again,
and thank you, my sister. We'll see you guys back here next week for another edition of Ron Kelly Show featuring Patricia Wilder. So tell a friend, let somebody know. You know, we need to get these numbers up. So tell. And
I'll try not to mute Ron next time.
Yeah, see, Patricia muted me. Yeah, I had to blame it on somebody. So everybody have a wonderful week. We'll see you back here next week. For another edition of the Ron Kelly Show featuring Patricia Wilder. So until then, Patricia.
Peace and blessings, peeps.
And I like to say it, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice, and that we may not have it all together. But together, Patricia Wilder, we can certainly have it all. So thanks so much, everybody. And I think we are done.